Riccardo, what a Riccardo. On behalf of the Principes and Patrina, I must request we meet in parley. Eccoci. It has been some time since I last asked another's permission. I have heard some... In fact, you are the first dragon slayer I have ever... Some fools would seek to make a fortune.
I take it he is not one of those fools. Perhaps we should listen.
I believe you have met such a fool. Captain Benweth of the Drake. Voxen of Ubildet Merla. Careful, ship hunter. Mind that you do not confuse a useful skill set for a non-expendable one. My apologies. Rest assured, it will not happen again.
Apologies, Captain. Didn't mean it, really. We're up all night, you know, searching out our friend here. You've been at sea a while. Your mind starts playing tricks on you, aye? Well, mine plays tricks on others, too. Usually don't mean much. Maybe see a bit of shadow, hear a bit of tune.
This is the first you are hearing of us, truly. We are a magnificent but largely landless. To survive, we must seize prosperity. It will not always be so, but it is for now. Ah, the short-sighted scoundrel has been wreaking havoc in the area for months. He is no son of Velia. I do not fault his ancestor. Benweth is the second most selfish captain within the Principe's newest generation. He risks all that we value. Perhaps I have said too much. She is a problem solely of my own. For now. Few pirates retire comfortably, Amica. We must replace our losses, accepting from many regions, including the Deadfire. Benweth is no captain of mine, Amica. Yet I do seek to temper his actions when they would endanger the Principe altogether. Word of Benweth's raid on the Defiant will spread throughout the Deadfire. I would suggest you stave off all up.
For our teas, for... Do my job for me, friend. Hope you don't die in the effort.
I will be honest with you, Amica. I do not favor Benweth, nor do I... But I believe you will be capable of setting him straight. I suppose I should expect as much from a woman once employed by the dozens. Of course, Amica. When you have dealt with my problem, I will prepare. Benweth's Drake took damage during the storm. Eventually, he will... He is rather...
Unrefined? Begging your pardon, Captain, but as for Benweth...
That would be felicitous, indeed.
Wouldn't have even thought of it if you hadn't brought it up, sir. Now, I ain't hardly in any hurry to leave the fight. Adding to that, you sail into Fort Deadlight not knowing your innings from...
What venture does not require an investment to be prosperous? The Seraphim is an allowance.
Oh, you won't be regretting this, Watcher. At least so long as you keep it...
He's not sleeping near my berth, I promise you that.
I sail now for Dunwich, my own safe port. I will await you.
Agrasima, Casita, for taking me on.
Ahoy, Captain. Truth be told, Ferrante, of course, I do that by way of good old traditional chicanery. Valian made originally. Piled them stones up a few. Captain Aldee's claimed it a few years, but a couple of them thought he might be better sailing elsewhere. They say she ain't had a deserter since. Funny thing about it being a fort means it ain't a boat. Fort itself be floored as ceiling rum-sodden. One blast of their horns and... she's sharp as shit, that one. Tongue, mind and ears alike. Part of that's her fierce support of freedom. From the rest, a lenient hand. Step out of line and Ferrante's can't say I much approve of a lack of regard for our traditions. But, shit, Captain. Let's leave it enough for now to say I think there be a... I did say contact would be more accurate. In the singular. A lass by the name of Sir might have, shaken the sheets a few months. Regardless of how she feels about me, there's no love lost... random? What do you... Well, I can't say as you're entirely wrong. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack. But if not cracking, what a nuts. Might be there's a way to sneak inside. Sussing out a place to land without being spotted ourselves require Helia's own eyes. Yeah, sure, used to. Then I made the mistake of showed him the S I carved into it and he turned around and told me it stood for spyglass. Deadlight's a tough coconut. Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite. Aye, Captain. From looking the part in this case means hoisting. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person can... Well, Principe Cap Nekataka's black market. If there be a Principe flag for sale, swapping cannonball might be tricky to not damage the flag and back. Aye, Captain. Not to be telling you your business later.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to. Tell me what's on your mind. They're there in my... And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like... Will we? I trust you, Watcher. I swear I do. It's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my... I'm glad we talked.
On it.
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others. I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative. I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same. I almost forgot how much you enjoy a good joke, even at my expense. Forgive me, but you've caught me quite off guard. I'm truly glad to see you again, but it's been 5 years. And we... perhaps we should focus on the work before us for now. Ah, the steward told me about your incident at Cadnua. Aethys took a piece of your soul. I suppose it's only natural to lose a few... You and I met in Gilded Vale. Shortly after your arrival in Deerwood, and in the midst of my... If that bampot was chafing his own mother's daughter, worth no ill of mine for noticing. Just so. I was with you as you sought Theos and answers regarding you, and you helped me come to terms with mine. You hearken this? So many years and still he's cold as a crag in his teeth. I've learned to appreciate Isilmir's decisiveness, if not her way with words. Back to our journey across, we pursued Theos and discovered the leaden key at this, and, more importantly, the millennia-old conspiracy to conceal the true origins of the gods. So do I. At your suggestion, I took up Theos's mantle after we parted company. I wanted to use the leaden, so for 5 years I've been tracking down leaden key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, hoping they can be reformed. The task has been more difficult than I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I haven't. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of changing the leaden key would be tracking down its... Perhaps this would be... I went to a village in Old Vale. Aye, right home like it was. Centuries ago, the leaden key had... The details were lost, but what had endured was a... At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young... I don't blame the villagers. I can understand needing someone to follow, something to believe, but it's our duty to give them compassion. I thought new leadership might, so I adjusted some of the deeds pertaining to the ownership of... It just so happened that a nearby Comtessa, a rather prosperous one, the Comtessa annexed the village, and while it continued, she taxed the villagers to pay for the plantation she was building, and conscripted half of them to defend. I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and I'm looking for an old leaden key sack. I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything. You know me too well. Yes? One would hardly, but then I suppose they seem Governor Clark. I'd heard Deadfire had a pirate problem. Still, the only thing... As a matter of fact, I did. I visited my father. I hadn't seen him since leaving. It may seem strange, but I find it easier to... My mother knew what he was like, and she spent most of my life away with her Thane. It was decades ago now. Not well. Years of drinking. Still, time had worn down his edges. Like an old... I used to see him as an I simply came to realize that he was... I don't condone his violence. Or his temper. I don't know about that. And my father, for all his efforts, was... My father was steward to an earl, and I think they must have loved... It was. It's been a while since I've been able to speak candidly with anyone, especially about the leaden key. It's unexpectedly liberating.
Hey, this brings back some memories, huh? I want the only I don't see it playing if you like. I like that feeling. Knowing we'd stop there. That was something I never felt before. Not that I wanted to tangle with. There was that little town, Deerford, we passed through. I went in and asked her, but then it turned out he was in that Scanite cult they have over there. When I wasn't looking, guess he wanted to drain my blood or gouge out my eyes with rocks or whatever. Anyway, I came out of... They didn't even want to do an election. Some of it I was good at, welcoming people, but there were other things I had no... I think I made a difference. I don't know if that was something we could have... If you like. I like that. That was... I guess anyway, some of it, but I think... I don't know if you like. The air is different. Sounds different. If the strange thing is, I like that. No, there was a... I went in, but then I guess he wanted to drink. Anyway, they didn't even want to do an election.
I've got it.
ring of a bell comes to you on a cold. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full. You are, and then an indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. The shifting image of Berith settles.
Watcher, I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
The pallid knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls the figure nearest Berith, dissolves and reforms the goddess Wodika.
Does Aethys frighten you, Berith? He should.
From out of Wodika's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize. He does not speak. Wodika steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now. A moon would do the job nicely.
A voice echoes from the shape nearest Berith.
The lava is too large to be moved, and Koltha too quick to be caught, even for a god of Wodika's strength and apparent.
The figure beside the aspect, the ash falls to the tiles and reveals Mogren's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do-nothing. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Mogren looks at you as one might await.
It is no business of yours.
Another of the silent figures steps forward.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's work,
Aethys has been separated from us for too long.
You look up then into avian eyes. Helia puts a feathered hand to her. Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys then, when he believes.
Scan pauses.
Ah, and here is the Watcher.
Scan licks the ragged edge.
I did not expect such a delicious...
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little...
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, however, if we push him to the brink of reason...
The pallid knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so, both stand...
Mogren grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his...
She begins to pace. Mogren stops and balls her...
Even if we manage to destroy his current form...
The pallid knight casts a cold...
Mogren speaks too freely.
Wodika waves the gods to silence. Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
Your opinion is unasked for and
Though her tone is impassive.
We will act when it is appropriate.
The pallid knight steps away from the words she speaks.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the pallid knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. You blink open your eyes.
Will do. Mm-hmm.
Reaper, awaits me. Almost. Lower.